Hi, I'm Bhavesh, and in this video we are going to look at jobs in AS400. So this is an introductory or a basic video which is intended for an audience which is new onto the AS400 platform. They have understood objects. Now the next topic is jobs. So as we have spoken before, everything in AS400 is an object. What is job an object? Job is an active process that runs in AS400. So it is not really an object, it is just an object under execution. A job, inside a job, you can have multiple programs run one after the other. So what is a job? Job is a unit of work that IBM manages and processes. So if I give you an example, in Windows, if I open the task manager, every single process that is there, that process would be equivalent to a job in AS400. Every single process is uniquely identifiable. It has this process identification number. In the same way, in AS400, we have a job number. Okay, so what is a job? If you see in Windows, every single application that is running as a separate process, as a separate job. So I have Google Chrome running, I have multiple applications running, Notepad running, my sound recorder is running, the task manager itself is running. So every separate application that is there is nothing but a process. It is using CPU, it is using memory. So in the same way, in AS400, we have jobs. So if I do WRKACTJOB, it opens the similar task manager for AS400 where you have multiple jobs which are running in the system. Let's continue with our topic. So how to identify a job uniquely? We need to learn this because when you will work in production support or development, multiple times when you will submit a compilation command or when you will submit a batch job, every job is going to have a unique identifier. The unique identifier of a job looks like this. It has three components separated by a slash. So you have the job number, the user who has submitted the job, and the name of the job. So combined string, combination of all three together forms a unique identifier for the job. So let's look at an example. Let's look at our own job. But before moving to that, what do I mean by my own job? So there are two types of jobs. There is an interactive, you can have an interactive job or you can also have a batch job. So what is an interactive job? So when you log in into AS400, when your session starts, so suppose if you log in and your session begins, this itself is a job for the AS400 server. Every user interactive session is a job. Why is it an interactive session? Because I'm interacting with the screen. I'm selecting menus, I'm opening screens, closing screen, executing commands. So all these are interactive activities. So this job, if I do WRKJOB without any other parameter and press enter, it will open my default job. That is my own job. So this job is an interactive job and it is running into the system. If I press 1, it will tell me some information. When did it enter the system? The date when the job started, the time when the job started, and other parameters. What is the severity limit? What is the configuration that is set for logging and all those things. It will show you spool files that have been generated in the current log. It will show you the job log and so on. So this is my own job. Any command that I execute will be executed in this job, that is in this process. There is another type of job which is called as batch job. So what are batch jobs? Batch jobs are different from interactive jobs. They are completely opposite. So batch jobs, you can imagine batch jobs as jobs which execute in the background. So if you have some activity which requires bulk processing, like for example, if you want to process a single algorithmic operation on millions of different records in your database, then you will have a batch job do it for you. Because if you do it as an interactive job, your session will be stuck. You will have to wait for hours and hours till the job completes and you will not be productive. So the tasks which are done in bulk are submitted as batch jobs, are termed as batch jobs, and they run in a separate queue and separate subsystem. We will come to that later. So why would you use a batch job? Batch jobs are used for nightly processing. So in general, for banks and insurance companies and other financial institutions, at night when the day gets over, all the accounting gets closed and all the summations and all the calculations which are done during the day, they are written, they are adjusted, and they are reconciled, and you have many different batch jobs which run at night. And that is why we have nightly processing of batch jobs. We can use batch jobs for generating reports, which would have taken a lot of time had it been an interactive job, for database updates, large scale data processing, and so on. So a batch job can be submitted with SBMJOB command. We will come to this later, but before this, let us look at the unique identifier of a job with an example. So if you look at my job with WRKJOB, you will see the job name, the user who submitted the job, and the number. That is the job number. If I just create a string out of it in the specific format, my job number is 674460. So if I do WRKOBJ 674460 slash my user ID and the job name. So this is my unique identifier for my own job. So if I press enter, it should open the same window that it was before. So I'm working with my own job, and that is how jobs are uniquely identified. There is a command called WRKACTJOB. It allows you to look at other jobs which are running in the system also. This is equivalent to your task manager. You will see all the jobs which are running in the system. So let's move ahead. The batch jobs are submitted with SBMJOB command. SBMJOB, if I give you an example, SBMJOB job, if you do F4, you can have your command to be executed as part of the first parameter. So SBMJOB will start a new job, and that new job will be submitted in a different job queue which will run in the background without stopping your workflow. It will keep on running in the background without causing any hindrance to you. So what to run in the batch job can be specified as part of the first parameter. So you can have a call statement where you can write the name of your program, the parameter list that goes after it. So you can specify different parameters that you are going to pass to the program. You can give a specific name to the job if you want. You can specify the job queue, the library in which the job queue is there, and you can specify the parameters for the job also. So if you press F10, it will show you all the parameters that can be set while running the job, the logging level, the severity limit, whether do you want to log the CL commands also or not, and so on and so forth. So for our basic understanding, SBMJOB can be used to submit a new job to run in a different queue or a different subsystem. So now this brings us to the next question. What is a job queue? So you can imagine it like if you go to a restaurant to have a nice dinner, but if you have a lot of guests in the restaurant, you will not be able to get your food immediately. The kitchen of the restaurant would be cooking your food, cooking someone else's food before you, who has ordered the food before you. So if you order it now, it will take some time for them to prepare. So your order gets parked in a queue. In the same way, when you submit a job in the job queue, if the job queue is already processing another job, it will be busy processing that job, and there could be other jobs which are waiting in the queue. So your job will be parked at the end of the queue. You can specify priority also if you want, but it will be parked in the queue, and when its turn comes, only then it will be picked up and will start executing. So there are different types of queues. For example, we can look at WRKACTJOB again. Here you will see that they have mentioned subsystems and queues. So let's cover subsystems first. So what is a subsystem? Subsystem is an environment where jobs are processed and managed. So for example, for interactive jobs, you can have a queue inter subsystem. So subsystem is nothing but a configuration which specifies what type of jobs it wants to categorize into its own space. So the queue inter subsystem will run interactive jobs. the queue batch subsystem will run the batch jobs which are executed at night, or the batch jobs which do bulk processing. So we can have different types of subsystems. So how are job queues and subsystems linked together? A job queue may be linked to one or more subsystems, and a subsystem can also have one or more job queues. So they are not really inside each other, but they are linked to each other. Okay, we are not going into much details, we're just understanding the concepts. So you have understood what is a queue. A queue is where the jobs stay in place before they are picked up for execution. A subsystem is a separator environment. It separates what types of jobs are run. So for example, we can see here that we have different subsystems here. Queue batch subsystem has these jobs running. We have queue batch 2, queue batch 3, queue batch 4, and so on. You have queue HTTP server. So this is the web server subsystem which is running the web server jobs. We also can see the queue inter, that is the interactive subsystem, which has all these user jobs. So all these users have logged in. These are actually the usernames or the job names for the jobs which are currently. So these are the job names and these are the usernames who have submitted the job. So these are the interactive sessions of the users which are logged in onto the system right now. So you have queue inter, you have queue inter 2, and so on. Queue server. So the purpose of a subsystem is to categorize jobs into different parts which serves different purposes. So that is a subsystem. So the work active job we have already seen. It is similar to task manager. WRKJOB allows you to work with a specific job when you have the job number or the unique ID that we saw, which is there for the job. The next topic which we'll cover quickly is a job log. Now what is a job log? Job log is nothing but the trace listing of all the commands that you have executed and any output that those commands or your programs has generated. So your CL program will do logging, your COBOL program might issue a display statement, or it will issue messages. So those messages, the output, the intermediate output as well, is logged as part of a job log. So while the program runs, it executes one command after the other. Every small CL program will log a job output, will log an output. All the output is then considered as part of a job log. So where will you see a job log? If you open if I open my own job in WRKACTJOB with work with job, for action for work with spool files, there is no spool file right now. There is no job log because the job is still running. If I look at my spool files, for example, you can see that there are a couple of job logs here present with QP job log. So these are jobs which have already been ended. We'll quickly go through how to read a job log. So the top of the job log, it is a spool file. So the top of the job log is the oldest timestamp, and as you go to the bottom, you can see that the job has executed different things, and at the end, if you go to the bottom, it is the end of the job. It will show that the job has ended over here, and the end code is 30. So these are different status numbers, 10, 20, 30, 0, 50, or so on. They represent the message severity level. If it is 0, it is only an informational message. As you go higher in numbering, like 30, 40, 50, it denotes that there was an error on that line. So as you can see, all these are 0 messages. All these are information messages only. But here you have something of 50, 30, 70. So these are errors. As you can see, input or output request failed. It has been logged with 30. So this is a job log. Job log basically logs all the outputs or the small information messages or the errors that have been generated when the job was running. It is very important when you would be debugging or troubleshooting any of the issues on AS400. You will have to look at the job logs. We will cover how to read a job log in detail later on. So that was it for today's video. We have covered very basic concepts of what is a job, how to identify a job uniquely, what are the different types of jobs, what is a job queue, what is a subsystem, how they are linked together. We also looked at some commands, and we also saw what is a job log in short. So this was a basic video for our new audience or the people who have just started learning AS400. So that is it for today. If you do like these videos, kindly consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.